I used to have this friend, and, for me, I'm a positive person. I'm always looking for the good, always looking for, genuinely positive things in my life and in my world because I know that it helps me. All right. And I would notice with her something good would happen, something undeniably good. And she would be so happy. And then she would look around and think, you know what? Things are actually okay. And then almost immediately, without meaning to, she would start scanning for what was coming, for the catch, for the thing she missed. And she would say it. She would literally say it. She would get into a stressed state when things get well because she said she could feel it. This low hum underneath the good, this vigilance she wasn't able to switch off. She started bracing for something she couldn't name yet, but she was absolutely certain that it was on its way. All right? I find this to be often in people who can't allow themselves to be fully inside a good moment. There's always a part of them standing slightly outside, watching at the perimeter, waiting for it to be taken away, waiting to be the one who loses it, waiting in some very deep place to be proven right that they shouldn't have been able to trust this great moment. I want to talk about this today, where it comes from, what it costs you, because I don't think we talk enough about how much suffering comes, not from the bad things in life, but from the anticipation of bad things that haven't happened yet, things that may never happen, that we're spending enormous amounts of energy preparing for in the middle of good stuff happening. So what you're experiencing has a name. It's called anticipatory anxiety. Very opposite to anticipatory positivity, which is what I live in most of the time. I'm always believing good things are going to happen. And I believe because of that, they come to me. But anticipatory anxiety is anxiety not about something that's happening, but about something that might happen. And in many ways, it's the sneakiest form of anxiety because it disguises itself as wisdom, as preparation, as being realistic. And you start to believe that if you stay vigilant enough, if you don't let yourself get too comfortable, somehow you're going to soften the blow when the thing finally arrives. But here's what you're actually doing. You're living through the loss before it happens. And you're paying attention to the emotional toll twice. Once in anticipation and once if it ever comes. And if it doesn't come, well, you've still paid that price. Okay? So let's look at it from a neuroscience perspective. As I've said many times before, our brains are prediction machines. So they're constantly running these little simulations of what's coming next. And they use our past experiences to give us the information. So if your past included things being suddenly taken away, love, stability, the ground beneath your feet, then your brain updated its model of the world accordingly. So what it learnt was things that seem safe often aren't. So calm is frequently just before crisis, and happiness is a vulnerable state. Now that's not pessimism. I want to be clear. That was accurate learning once upon a time. So your nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It took the information, it adjusted its predictions. But the problem is that these predictions are not automatically updating when your circumstances change. It's a little bit like, when you don't update your operating systems in your phone or in your iPad or in your computer. You're running on old systems that are outdated. So you can be in a genuinely stable situation, surrounded by genuine safety, and your brain's still running the old model, still scanning for the thing that's coming. Right? I worked with this woman. She'd spent decades successfully building this really beautiful, beautiful life, great marriage. She had meaningful work. She had lots of close friends. And she told me that fundamentally she just couldn't trust any of it. When things were good, she felt guilty that she didn't deserve it. And she felt scared. Like if she noticed how good things were, she was just somehow jinxing it. Now, I know a lot of you feel this way because I work with a lot of you going through stuff like this. So she wasn't depressed. She wasn't anxious. In the clinical sense, she just was unable to be fully present for this glorious life that she was living. And when her and I talked about where this started, the thread went back to an early experience of instability. So they weren't dramatic events, but just the ordinary unpredictability of a house where things shifted without warning. She had an alcoholic father. So comfort sometimes led into like tensions in the house. And she learned not to unclench. She had to be on guard, because if she unclenched, then she was going to be caught off guard. And that was the worst thing that could happen as a child. And so she carried that clenching through the rest of her life until I met her, and into these moments of genuine goodness that she just couldn't be fully in, even though her father died a couple of decades ago. So the insight I want to offer you is this: waiting for the other shoe to drop doesn't keep you safe. What it does is it keeps you away. It keeps you away from the beautiful moment that's actually here, away from the good that's actually present, away from your own life. There's this concept about the cost of what sometimes is called future suffering. So we create suffering for ourselves in the present by catastrophizing about a future that's only existing in our minds. So the thing we're bracing for isn't actually happening. The loss we're grieving hasn't occurred. We're suffering right now from a story we're telling ourselves about something imaginary. That is not wisdom. That's not preparation. It's just a habit. And the wonderful thing is that habits can change. All right? So what we want to do is we want to step back from the other shoe's about to drop and just notice, that's just a thought I'm having, not a thing that's happening. And when we do that, the anxiety loses some of its power. Not all of it, not immediately, but it does lose some of its power. So I've got a little experiment for you. When you notice that you're bracing, right? Try and name it out loud. You might say to yourself, there it is, I'm doing that shoe dropping thing, or I'm doing that waiting thing. And try not to dismiss it, but just look at it, all right? And then I want you to take a breath. And then I want you to find one specific, concrete thing in the present moment to rest your attention on. It could be as simple as the weight of your feet on the floor, or take a cup of coffee and feel the warmth of the cup in your hands, or maybe there's a sound outside your window or a tree outside your window. Not because this erases the anxiety, because it practices something your nervous system desperately needs. The experience of being safe inside a good moment, even for 30 seconds, even imperfectly, that's new information for a brain that needs updating. So you don't have to stop being careful. You don't have to pretend that bad things don't happen. They absolutely do. But you also deserve to be here, fully here for the good moments. Not standing outside, watching for them, watching for what could be coming, but be inside the good moments, actually living them. And also remember, what we focus our mind on is what we attract. So we have to be very careful with these thoughts that we run away with, these imaginings, because we actually start bringing it to us. So just notice it. Take a breath. Come back to the present moment and really enjoy those positive moments, because the more you enjoy them, the more of them are going to come. Don't forget to do the quiz, the happiness quiz, the link's in the description. The other shoe may or may not drop. That's the truth. But right now in this moment, you've got both shoes. And this moment is the only moment you actually have. As always, be kind, take care, go gently in the world.